Hello, welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. I have some cards to share with you that I made for World Card Making Day, which was on the 1st of October, which is also my sister's birthday. So I got to play with these beautiful cards. I'll show you all of them and show you what I've made. And then I might, depending on time, make a couple with you. So I've done the cards as they did in the event on Saturday, but I also like to do inside my cards. So I've got a little bit of extra on each of my cards on the inside. So this little bit here is from the bit that we die cut out of the center of the door for the lovely warm welcome card. And then I've just got an extra, done the same sort of stamping on the front of this one and then on the inside of the card. So over the next couple of days, I'll do each of them with you if you'd like me to. If you don't, just let me know and I'll find something else to do. But today, let's start with this beautiful card featuring, I'll just leave them up there, the Cottage Rose stamp set and the coordinating Cottage Flowers dies, which is a beautiful stamp set. It has some great greetings, and I've used this one a fair bit actually, and it really is a great image for just stamping or also colouring, and also it really lends itself to sort of shabby chic or vintage type of styles as well. Okay, so let's put that there, and I'll get my cards together. I'll put you over there so you can see that. So the card base is just basic white card base, and it has two large white pieces for the front and the inside, and then I've already stamped my flower and die cut it out. I've stamped it in memento ready for the colouring, and I've also done the die cutting for the floral pieces that are going underneath, and they've got a piece of So Saffron there for the greeting. All right, so let's get our stamping mat in here, and the first thing we'll do is stamp just a little bit of a background behind the flower using crumb cake ink and this lovely leaf which has been popped underneath the flower. I'm just spinning it around and having it on three sides there. And then for the inside of the card, I'm going to put it on the corners so that we leave the central panel for writing a greeting. And I'll stamp my best wishes as well while I'm stamping with my crumb cake. So best wishes inside the card. All right, that's all of the crumb cake stamping. And while I'm stamping, I'll stamp finally the happy birthday on this So Saffron piece. Now, as you can see, my sticker's a little bit wobbly on the top of my stamp, but I'll just check out the red rubber underneath and stamp that in my black memento ink. Just line that up there. Good job. All right, that's all the stamping done. Next, we're going to colour these leaves using a bit of crumb cake. And I like to use light crumb cake first because I think it lays down enough alcohol to... I'm not colouring them in with any precision. I'm just adding a bit of colour. I like a little bit of white space. I think it sort of looks a bit artistic-ish. And then with my dark crumb cake, I'm just going to highlight a couple of those veins. And because there's been a bit of alcohol laid down, it blends in a little bit. If I don't like how dark it is, I can go back with my light ink. Just colour over the top and I'll blend in. And it does dry a little bit lighter when you're finished using the blends. Now the blends are, Stampin' Blends have alcohol in them, which means that they sit on top of the cardstock and move it around a little bit better. Okay, so this time I'll do the opposite for you. I'll do the dark first. One thing about using the alcohol markers, you really should have a well-ventilated place because I can smell the alcohol. It's quite strong. Okay, and then I'll use my lighter one over the top. Just add the colour there. And as I said, I'm not being very precise, just adding some colour. I'm not colouring the branches. I'm using the brush tip of the light one to add more colour onto the project. There we go. So that's those guys done. Next, let's colour the rose. Now, this is totally different colours to what I would choose. But I love how it turned out, and in using two colours together on the card was quite a revelation for me. So this is sort of very cool. So the colours that they told us is Flirty Flamingo and So Saffron for the flower, and then for the leaves there's Mint Macaron and Old Olive. Okay, so I'll start doing the leaves first because that's less terrifying, and I might use the bullet tip. Seems to have lost itself in there somewhere. So I'm just going to add Old Olive to the base of each of these leaves, and again the idea is to create artisticness, and I'll use some Mint Macaron to blend over the top of them to give that two-tone of the leaves. And I think the finished product looks rather amazing, really. So there you go, they look pretty cool, don't they? Okay, now Flirty Flamingo. I'm just going to follow the lines on the design for the dark pieces. And if I can, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see or not, I'm wearing the Cottage Rose Stampin' Up jumper, which you can buy. Anyone can buy, which is really cool. And this is the way I coloured. I used my Stampin' Blends to colour my jumper. And if I can pull the front of it in, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but I've coloured with the light colours because I'm a light colour person, just using the colour on the lines, colouring over the top of the lines. One day you'll have to check me out when I'm wearing it. Okay, now I'm using the So Saffron on the other bits of the petals just to fill in. And my colouring this time is much lighter than when I did it on the weekend, but I actually like that. Okay, so there you go, just some simple colouring of the flower. Should I do, here I'll just colour these little dudes, whatever they are, some pretty looking thing. There we go, pop that all out of the way for you. And then we can put our card together. So the first and easiest thing to do is to put the inside panel inside the card. I love the white on white look, so clean and crisp. And then the front panel the top of that is going to go this flower and these guys, which I haven't actually popped out the die cuts really, so I don't know whether, no, I think it's overtakes it too much, so I need to pop out all these little bits here, and I'll just pop out easily excuse me, like that. One, there's this one. I find just bending the cardstock helps them pop out really easily. Okay, two, and then the last one. I'm not worrying about those little tiny circly bits inside. I think actually that will help hold it, adhere it down if I can add some glue right behind there. And almost done. There we go. 3, just get rid of my confetti. Now what I'm going to do, which is a little bit different, but use my usual style, is to put glue all over the back and then stick, whoops, my pieces on that glue like that, and then I'm going to add some dimensionals over the top to sandwich them in place. And one more there maybe, one over there, and also add, seeing I've got some little mini glue dots here, a couple just on these to hold them in place excuse me, when it gets stuck onto the card. So there's a lot of sticking going on there. All right, I'll just peel the backs of these off because I've got no fingernails. And then that one. And then these guys come off pretty easy. Especially if you push down in the middle, it just lifts up the edge of the backing paper. There we go. Okay. Now my little sticky friend, come on up. Oops, upside down. There we go. And pop you in there. Stick, 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 stickity, stick, stick. And then last of all is my happy birthday. I'm going to use just the edge bit of my dimensionals for this. Bit there. And this edge as well. For the full length of my happy birthday. There we go. 1, 2, and that's my card. Oh no, not quite complete. Now, which is the yuckiest bit that I want to cover up? I'll cover up that right in the middle, that splodgy bit of ink just there. And then the last bit is to add some iridescent pearls, which are so pretty, using Flirty Flamingo colouring them. So 1, 2, and I'm just using the small ones. There we go. So it's another great use for the Stampin' Blends, isn't it? It covers colours, pearls, rhinestones, colours ribbon, colours all sorts of things, and colours your jumpers as well. And another one. Lucky last. Where will you go? There we go. How's that? And that's about my time up, actually. 15 minutes. So check in same time tomorrow, and I'll show you one of these other ones as well. 10 o'clock tomorrow, my Facebook Live, and I'll share which one do you like better. Now that I look at it, I like the more intense colour of that one. So I might go back with my pens and do a little bit more, perhaps titivate with it a bit more. But I do like how the inside looks. I love that white with the crumb cake. It really is beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll answer all your questions afterwards, and I hope you come back tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Bye-bye now.